So, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the FinTech Summer Sessions. I can't believe we're already in week 8. It's been a wonderful 8 weeks and 7 weeks, and I assure you that this week will be just as exciting. Uh, we're getting closer to the end, so I'm starting to feel sad, but I can assure you that we will be back with a very exciting edition in 2025 with many other interesting topics. Let's get some housekeeping out of the way. In the chat, you are going to find links to the Telegram group. So if you haven't joined that, it's about time to join it and make sure you have access to all the previous sessions as well as the presentations. Everything is going to be shared on the Telegram group. You will find that on the in the chat, the links to the chat. Hi, first of all. I'm hoping that you are all returning attendees and participants. If it's your first time, well, better late than never. So welcome to the FinTech Summer Sessions. You can catch up on all the previous sessions on the Telegram group, and you can even catch up on previous year's session on YouTube as well. Last week, we had an exciting session on banking as a service. We had actually Michelle's good friend, Hussam, who was telling us about banking as a service and the different opportunities as banking as a service. And an emphasis was brought on data and the use of data in banking as a service and the importance of data in banking as a service. And today we have another very, very exciting session that continues on that and focuses purely on data and AI with a focus on fintech and the financial sector. And we're very lucky to have Michel Kilzi with us today. Michel is a veteran when it comes to data and AI. He's been doing data and AI solutions for the financial sector and non-financial sector before they were hot and sexy trends, as we can say. So he brings vast experience, subject matter expertise, and use cases, real life use cases. So I'm looking forward to hearing about those use cases and learning more about making use of the data and making use of artificial intelligence to help fintechs or the financial sector in general grow. Without further ado, I'm going to pass it on to my good friend Michel here to take us through this and shed some insights on this topic. Welcome, Michel.
Yeah, sorry, my mic was off. Thank you, Karim, for the intro. I'm really excited to be here with Fintech Saudi. Extremely excited to share with you lots of experience, expertise on how to apply data and AI in fintech. In fact, as Karim was saying, I personally started 20 years back in 2004, a company called Insighter. We're specialized in data analytics at that time, so 20 years back. At that time, you needed a huge investment in hardware to turn on a machine doing data analytics and what have you. So the only companies that could afford it were the banks and the large telco companies. So we did lots of beautiful in Saudi Arabia with STC, in lots of different countries. So we have today 20 years experience in crunching and manipulating data across different sectors, different industries, projects in around now 12 countries, crunching data in 6 different languages, being B2C, B2B. Insighter is a data transformer agency that helps companies across the sectors to leverage their data as a real asset. So your data holds the secrets of your business. Your data has the solutions to a majority of your problems. And it's all about really leveraging this data for business growth, for different business objectives. And basically, this is the main topic we'll be discussing today. So I'm trying, sorry, I'm trying to shift slides. What's happening? Sorry for that. Okay. So as for the agenda, we're gonna go through what's really data and the relationship between data and fintech, how to leverage data, what's data analytics, AI meaning artificial intelligence and machine learning. So AI is for artificial intelligence and ML for machine learning. We're gonna go through different fintech real data use cases. We're gonna see how fintech is all about customer first, so customer centric, and how AI enable the leverage of or the boosting of this customer centricity. How data is a real productive asset, and what do we mean by productive asset? And finally, how in the real world there's humans, so us, and there's AI, so how we're gonna coexist together. Please feel free to ask questions. There will be Q&A at the end, so let it be an interactive session. Happy to answer all of your questions. There will be a nice poll in the middle of the presentation. Please, hope you will all participate actively into that. So basically, as you know, we're living in an uncertain world, lots of volatility, geopolitics, lots of problem, and especially into the fintech world, where you guys are basically serving unbanked, underbanked, underserved. So it's not easy. It's not the mainstream financial market customers. So there's lots of uncertainty. There's lots of hidden customer profiles, credit profiles, risk, and what have you. But what's really nice or what's positive is that there's lots of data into fintech. So today, if we take any fintech, almost 85% of the fintech data is your client's data. So you guys, you as fintechs, 85% of the data you're sitting on is generated through loan application, payment processing transactions, credit profiles, underwriting. So it's huge and it's related to the customer. When we see what happened during the last 2 years, 90% of the world data generated was generated during the last 2 years. So 23, 22, okay, generated 90% of the worldwide available data. So humans, each of us, is generating 1.7 megabyte of data per second. And the real opportunity is that only 0.5% of all of that data is being leveraged. And we're gonna see what's data leveraging and how we can make benefits of data, how we can leverage the data for certain business objective, for customer engagement, for business growth, you name it, revenues, optimizing your fintech business. There's a love story between fintech and data, and this slide is all about showing you how and why. So it's a real love story. It's like a human, a man and a woman. So as you know, and I'm not here to teach you, but your fintechs, it's all about a customer first. So you exist as fintechs because there are customers that are unserved or underserved, and you are here to attract them into an ecosystem that is different from the banking mainstream financial market. And at the end of the day, it's all about customer centricity. So fintech being customer first, okay, and data and AI ensures they are the priority. Why? Because as we saw, 85% of your data are related to customers, and AI is here through data analytics, through AI, through machine learning, to reveal, okay, their preferences, their behavior, their patterns, their credit score, and what have you. Fintech is as well about delivering conveniency. So it's fast onboarding, intuitive onboarding, fast to apply for a loan, to process a payment, to use your wallet, and data and AI refine efficiency. So as you see, it's always, okay, a correlation, a direct correlation between what fintech is all about and what data can bring to complement the power of fintech. Fintech focus on speed, okay? AI ensures the precision within the speed. Fintech provides access, so it's accessibility, okay? AI ensures the personalized treatment of that accessibility. Fintech serves the unbanked. Data and AI discover hidden profiles. So data and AI can bring from under the water profiles that are inexistent to the mainstream financial market, and in a way give them an alternative profile. So those guys exist in reality, but they don't exist in the credit bureau, or they don't exist, okay, with Visa or MasterCard or the banks or what have you. But in fact, they exist. They have purchase power. They have, like every one of us, they can be banked, or they are into a banking relationship, but they're not happy about banking relationship, or they're looking for something else. And this is an opportunity for you as fintechs to serve them. Fintech is all about innovation. AI and data and AI fuels innovation. Fintech process complex underwriting processes. AI is here to detect the risk and simplify it. So as you can see, there's lots of correlation. There's lots of complementarity between what fintech, how and AI can come as an empowerment body. Okay, this is why I'm calling it a love story. Sorry, guys. Again, I don't know why I cannot scroll down. Again, sorry for that. Okay, so here we're gonna see how data is the most valuable asset for any fintech. At the end of the day, fintechs, they are in need of informed decisions. So the decisions you're taking, because those customers are not really exposed to the financial market. So you really need to make sure that the decision you're taking is really appropriate, is really in the right place. You need to discover customer insights. You need to understand behavior. You need to understand, okay, what's the reason behind X or Y or Z behavior. You need to personalize the customer treatment and allow kind of tailored financial servicing. You need to manage well your risk, okay, and look into credit risk, credit allocation, mitigate eventually defaults, look into the credit worthiness. It's all about operational efficiency. So to streamline a cost-effective operation, and of course, avoid any kind of fraud or fraudulent activities. So this is why data is your most valuable asset, okay? And behind data, it's your customer. So definitely you would tell me, no, okay, our most valuable asset is our customers. Yes, I totally agree, but okay, your customers equals data. So data and AI, they come together. And there's no AI if there's no data. Okay, so data is the life blood of AI. Imagine AI like a small child that needs to learn, grow, evolve, learn, and learn more. Okay, and AI has parents. AI learns at school. AI reads. AI gets knowledge. So the parents, the school, the knowledge, the books, okay, of AI are data. So this is why data is extremely important, and those algorithms need to develop. They need to grow. Okay, prediction is all about data, and prediction is an algorithm that refines itself over time. You need large data sets to learn and learn more. Data drives personalization. Feedback loop is through the transaction. So we feedback loop into the machine learning. So through interaction, through transaction, the machine can learn more. So this is very important to bear in mind that data, there's no AI if there's no data. This is why the foundations, okay, is your data. And you know it extremely well. You're managing your fintechs every day. Okay, you're overwhelmed. Any fintech is overwhelmed by data. So you may have from KYC to open banking to alternative data, loan application data, employment data, AML, remittance. So you're overwhelmed by data, and this is the opportunity. At the end of the day, more data, more opportunities, more data, more learning into the AI and the machine learning, more data, more discoveries into your customer profiles and your customer needs and what have you. And this is your wealth. This is your asset. This is what, okay, is the most important, and it fuels every second, every minute, okay, every day. This is about the data being generated, you being a micro lending, a consumer finance, a payment aggregator, an acquiring payment company, any fintech has this vast sources of data. I think we're running a poll right now. So the question is, which is the most valuable data set in your opinion? And as you can see here, number one is credit scoring data. Number two is KYC data. Number three, open banking data. Four is metadata. API push data, so could be open banking, could be from the credit bureau, could be any data integration, data connection. And six is all above are equally valuable. So probably we'll be waiting for you to vote. And I would like to see the results. Please, if you can, all of you make a vote. You have to choose between 1 and 6. So, okay. So the majority of you voted all above are equally valuable. Okay, thank you for those. The others who voted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can understand. and probably I would have voted the same. But at the end of the day, on purpose, okay, every byte is gold. Every piece of data you hold is equally as much as important as the other, because at the end of the day, it's a collective leverage of data. So there's no byte of data that is more important than the other, simply because at the end of the day, we're matching this data. It's a melting pot of transaction data, of customer demographics, of behavioral data, of credit scoring, of social media for sentiment analysis, or social media listening tool, KYC, open banking, metadata. We need all of them. So at the end of the day, what I want to pass here as a message is don't disregard any data. And I'm going to show you in one of the use cases how we leveraged in one of the fintechs Insider was serving. We leveraged some data that was sitting there for 2 years, that was not touched, that was not leveraged. And at a certain point in time, we had, okay, we made great use of such data. Again, my screen is logging share. I think I have to move. Okay, so here all what I'm saying again, okay, data and AI, the lifeblood of fintech. Every click, every transaction, every loan application, every payment you're processing can unlock huge opportunity. This is the power of data. This is the power of unlocking prediction analytics, of driving insights, discoveries, into your data, into your customers, into the behavior, the credit worthiness. It's all about transforming data. So as you saw, we have fintechs, you have lots of data. So it starts as raw data. So here in the bottom of the page, you can see the first layer of transformation. We're getting raw data, that we are going through a first transformation to transform this raw data into insights, into patterns, into preferences, into discoveries, seasonalities, what have you. And in a second phase, we're going to transform insights into actionable insights. So, okay, it's really nice to know and discover insights, but at the end of the day, we really need to make value, okay, and leverage those insights. So this is where we go, okay, to transforming insights into actionable insights. And this is for interaction, for further learning, for taking decisions, for data enrichment. And this is how you start leveraging data. And we're going to see in real life how to do it. So everything starts by data aggregation. So imagine data pipelines. It's like a bit the plumbing. So we're getting a pipe coming from your app or your website or your loan application, your lending management system, the credit bureau, the metadata, social media, loan applications, what have you. So we need to aggregate all of those data. We need to integrate data pipelines coming from the external world of your fintech. And this is where we need to break the Chinese walls between those silo data, okay? So every data source is a silo by itself. So we need to break those Chinese walls, okay? We don't need them to be in silos. We're gonna go through data cleansing and data structuring in a way to unify this data into one set. And once it's unified, we can start doing data mapping and data chaining. So sometimes if you're sitting on 1,000 different data touch points, by chaining 8 of those, you have a story. You have your data has something to tell you about a customer, about a preference, about a credit profile, about something extremely valuable. Having structured the data and having done this data preparation, then it's time to integrate the AI and the machine learning. So there's always a problem. You always have, okay, a use case, a pain point, an optimization opportunity. This is what's the problem definition. Then we select the algorithms. We design sometimes hybrid models of AI. So it's not a single AI that comes into the play, but 2 or 3 different AIs and machine learning that will work together as one team. Uh, we do this engineering to structure them. We train and we start validating and doing testing. So lots of A/B testing to make sure that those AI are serving the use case or the problem that we defined at the beginning. In prediction, for example, we don't start deploying before we have minimum 60% accuracy rate. Monitoring and maintenance, and it's a revolving process. Once we have all of this apparatus in place, it's all about, okay, descriptive analytics to start discovering. So this AI and machine learning that we saw are gonna identify customer personas, the discover life cycle stages, lifetime value, discover all your business drivers. So seasonality, behavior, customer preferences, seasonality, anomalies, millions of discoveries. And this is what we call descriptive analytics. That is all about analytics looking into historic data. With predictive, there's also diagnostic analytics, but I'm gonna go directly through the predictive analytics. This is when we're gonna use historic data and start looking into the future, into tomorrow. What might happen, okay, tomorrow? What is the propensity or the probability of a customer to repay a loan? What's the probability of a risk of a certain profile? What's the probability of cross-selling another product so we anticipate, okay, the behavior, we forecast future scenarios. So let's say the predictive analytics has predicted that Karim might do this, Karim might default, Karim might not default, Karim might buy this, Karim might probably like this. And at the end of the day, we have 6 predictive analytics on Karim. Okay, nice. Very good. But what should I do? So this is prescriptive analytics that is going to do the arbitrage and can say, listen, guys, opportunity number 4 of Karim, let's put it as number 1, number 5 as number 2, because they have the highest probability of adoption of success with Karim. And number 1, this is the contextual, okay, story or journey. So now we know that if Karim does X, we have to do Y. If Karim doesn't do, okay, and this is how we go from insights to actionable insights. So now I know how we should behave with Karim. I'm gonna go a bit, I think we're running late. We still have 15 minutes. Okay, so once you're into this, you can start interacting with your data. In the old days, it was all about data visualization. It was all about dashboards, okay, graphs, charts, pie charts, okay, static visualization of data, a bit interactive, some querying capabilities. Today, with the LLM and the generative AI, we can really prompt. So imagine as if you have a chat GPT, but it's not exposed to the World Wide Web. It's your fintech GPT. So it's the closed loop GPT or data prompting of your own fintech. So you can ask it any question as if you're in chat GPT. Okay, once we have this actionable insights, okay, we need to interact. So this is where we use or we leverage an AI activation tool to start engaging the discussion. And as we were saying, now we have two opportunities related to Kareem. Okay, Kareem might do the action at 11 p.m. He might do it in 3 weeks. He might do it during a weekend. So I'm not here as a marketeer sitting behind my screen waiting for Kareem to react. So this is the AI activation tool that is gonna automate the process of creating AI conversations to drive the use case being XYZ, business growth, or conversion, what have you. And it's gonna generate feedback loop. So if you remember, we spoke about feedback loop to feedback the machine on the learning we got through this interaction. Even if Kareem didn't buy, didn't opt in, okay, by itself, it's a learning. And the machine will start learning more and more on a personalized level on Kareem, on Michelle, on Lena, okay, one-on-one. So in a nutshell, okay, it's all about predictive analytics. We can predict spending, credit defaults, propensity for loans, you name it. It's all about hyper-personalization of the customer experience. It's all about creating eventually alternative credit scoring, alternative credit profiles, tapping into sentiment analysis through social media, through behavior, okay, tapping into the customer conversations as we just saw. At the end of the day, it's all about enhancing the customer engagement, streamlining, okay, those non-bank financial services in a very smooth way, and eventually fraud detection. Those are few of the data usage. They could be much more. So again, in terms of analytics, okay, you can use it to stimulate revenues, to stimulate cross-sell, upsell, to influence behavior, to create more stickiness for more repetitive, recurrent interactions, okay, loan default predictions, alternative credit scoring, alternative profiling, personal finance management, mapping the customer journey, optimizing cost of acquisition, discovering who are your ambassadors and your brand preferences, real-time event triggered, like we saw in the AI activation tool. You can see who are your customers that are gonna churn, they're gonna downgrade, who are the ones who you can stretch eventually and increase your wallet share. So endless opportunities and use cases. And at the end of the day, you have to define the use cases. So imagine every one of your customer has a story. And you have 1 million customers, you have 2 million customers. There's 2 million stories. How to handle it? So it's all about, okay, us as human beings, we're not able to handle all of this. We need, okay, AI to support us, to assist us. So if you take it from a marketing perspective, marketing is the how, AI is why behind the how. There's a direct correlation between marketing and AI. We saw in the beginning how there's direct correlation between fintech, data, and AI. Here we're seeing how there's direct correlation between marketing, data, and AI. So marketing is acting, AI foresee the doing. Marketing is all about influencing interaction, that's desires. So you see how there's a direct relationship between marketing and AI. And if you take any of you, I suppose any of you has this kind of structure of marketing, okay, more or less. And at the end of the day, okay, this is where data, okay, can support you. So data can support in customer knowledge, in reporting, analysis, operation, content creation, activations through the AI activation tool. It makes it personalized. It creates engagement. So there's a huge benefit leveraging AI for your own marketing. This is a use case that we implemented in almost probably 10 or 15 of the insider clients, banks, and fintechs that I like to share. So it's a customer journey mapped with a life cycle value mapping. So we use a persona scoring that is called RFM, recency, frequency, monetary value. So let's say I spent 1,000 riyal with you, and Karim spent 500 riyals. Who's your best customer? It's not necessarily me. It might be Karim, because myself, I spent 1,000 riyal with you 6 months back. Karim spent 500, being 200 last week, 100 the week before, and 200 a month before. So Karim wins on the recency, he wins on the frequency, and I win on the monetary, but overall, Karim's win. So it's not always binary. And then we map it into the life cycle stages. Who are your new customer, your promising customer, your potential loyalist, your champions, your loyal customers, the one that you need to ring a fence around them, that are your best customers, your high value customers. And finally, they might be needing attention. They might churn, they might sleep, they might hibernate, they might be at risk. And at any point in time, you can click on one of those, launch a campaign, download the Excel sheet. Okay, it's real-time data. So to make a long story short, there's lots of use cases. I'm gonna skip. So as I told you, you need to define your use case. Once you have defined your use case, you can start leveraging data. The first use case is a microfinance institution, so a non-bank financial institution, and it was all about getting more of the SMEs to share more data. So in a way, help yourself so we can help you. So personalized finance through a data and sharing enrichment. So you need 1,000 riyal. According to my underwriting, I can give you 50,000. But if you share more data, maybe your credit score can evolve, and then maybe we can give you the 100, grant you a loan of 100,000 data. So you as an SME, we created a trigger so they share more data. And through this, in 5-6 months, we were able to boost by 18% the monthly active users, being the SMEs, 22% boost on the daily active users. Consumer finance. So this is a credit card company. Their major problem was unused credit limits. So they had a portfolio of several billion of Egyptian guinea. It's in Egypt. Okay, let's say they have 20 billion guinea of credit allocation. Their 500,000 customer were only using around 16 billion. So there's 4 billion of unutilized funding. So in 6 months, we stimulated spending, okay, through the 500,000 customer cardholders, and we were able to increase, okay, unutilized credit limits by 21%. But as well, we created a referral program to lower cost of acquisition, and it was really efficient. We were able to drive around 50,000, so 10% increase in customer acquisition through a referral program. I'm going fast, guys, because we still have 4 minutes and there's still a lot. Fintech being a lending fintech, it was all about analyzing their pathway from application to being granted a loan and being active. So it's all about conversion. It's all about optimizing the cost per conversion, and we were able to increase by 9% cost per conversion, which probably would tell me 9% is too little, but in 6 months, 9% is good, and it can evolve as the machine is learning and getting enhanced. An acquiring bank and non-bank. Okay, so I guess you know what's acquiring. It's about having the POS, at the merchant side, and you process payment. So it was all about analyzing, okay, the merchant portfolio of the FI or the bank, and to fight churn. So we now want to keep the good merchants that are driving most of our revenues. So we were able, by leveraging data and AI, to decrease churn by 21% and eventually drive more business, because, as you know, every merchant has two POS, one from our clients' POS and one from a competition. So we were able to drive incremental revenue, so more usage on our POS rather than the competition. As well, okay, into acquiring merchants. So we gave to the merchant, the FI gave to the merchant, okay, back their data. So we give them the visualization, the accessibility to their own data, and the acquirer offered them more advanced analytics, premium services. So one, they were able to increase their sales, so merchant acquisition, by 8%, and they were able to leverage all of this to create new revenue streams. This is a micro finance company where, sorry guys, okay, so I still have 5 minutes. A microfinance company with almost no mainstream data. So it was all about leveraging alternative data. So SMEs, mini markets. So we leverage alternative profiling, how many square meter the mini market is, how many refrigerator of Pepsi Cola or Coca-Cola do they sell, perishable goods, 7/7, 24/24, how Main Street or space of the mini market, is it a one-man show or he has an employee? So through alternative data, we were able to create a profile. Through alternative data, we were able to create an alternative credit scoring. So through telco and utility payment, so through payment aggregation, we kind of created an income, citizenship income imputation level score. Since all of those mini markets or SMEs, 90% of their business is through the neighborhood clients. So lots of alternative data that are non-financial data that we were able to use and correlate a certain financial footprint. And at the end, it was a 7% reduction in cost of acquisition, 11% in net promoter score. Consumer life cycle analytics, so through spending and wallet, and so it's a payment fintech that has a wallet, has a payment aggregation, has kind of a debit card, let's say. So we were able to follow the spending of the customers to create personas, who's more into fine dining, who's more into fast food. The one who has a mortgage, immediately we can sell him an insurance. The one who took a mortgage, immediately we can propose a furniture gallery to sell him furniture. Okay, so it's all about discovering life cycles through payment and financial PFM, personal financial management, and discover what's their lifestyle. Lending fintech, empowering the customer engagement. So looking into who's the most eligible. So this fintech was receiving around 300 applications per day. And we wanted to follow up to increase the conversion. So who's the most eligible? And to increase the approved loans. So the AI would look into who are the 20, 30 out of the 250, 270 daily applicants, Okay, so the call center will call them, and we increase, okay, the onboarding conversion and the approved loans, and create this personalized customer engagement. At the end of the day, I'm really sorry, but I have to cut it short. We are humans living on planet Earth. AI is a living body, or whatever we call it. But at the end of the day, we complement each other. AI is not here to replace us as human. AI is here to complement and assist us in an ethical way. Okay, the AI is better than human in hard skills. We are better in soft skills, the emotional, intuitive, empathy. Okay, as humans, we're better into repetitive, automated tasks. They are better. And thank you, guys. Sorry, Kareem. Sorry, Sagar, for having.
Thank
I'm
you,
speaking
Mike
for
and
minutes.
Michelle. Thank you. No, this was very insightful, and the use cases were very interesting. It's interesting to see how the data can be used in different ways, whether it's acquiring more customers, increasing revenue, reducing churn, and so on. We have some questions here, and I want to start at the
Sure.
beginning, Michelle. You mentioned a lot of interesting points, and you closed it off really well in terms of having a hybrid between humans and AI, and I'll come back to that. But to start off, you mentioned there's no AI without data. But if you go a step back, you got to make sure you got the right data, you got clean data, and you've got organized data. How or what recommendation do you have for companies that are starting now? How do they make sure that they are collecting that data in a proper way so that at a later stage they can utilize it to their advantage? And for those who already have large sets of data, the cleaning process might be quite hectic, and the organizing process might be quite hectic. So I'd also like to get your thoughts on that. Did we lose Mike, Michelle? Hello?
Okay, there's lots of purity of payment
Okay.
transaction. Sorry, yes.
No, no, you're
Can you hear
back.
me
You're back.
now?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so I was
Yes,
saying
yes. Go ahead.
in a fintech, there's lots of genuine data, the what we call data purity. Okay, so what's what can be not really genuine is a client loan application, or a client trying to bluff, or a client trying to push certain data that are not really a representation of his real customer profile, or customer credit scoring, and this happened. But usually the main data is genuine. And as you know, there's ways. Okay, first of all, what I advise you is to aggregate all kind of data. Don't keep a byte going out of your way, because even the bad data and the fraudulent data is a way for your machine learning to learn, and over time it will help you refine the quality of your data. And there's a quality management practice that we put in place, so Insider can help you put in place a certain data management, data quality process to make sure that your data gets refined into quality. And what's more important is data enrichment, because data enrichment reveals sometimes that the data, certain data sets were not really of good quality.
Michelle, you mentioned the use of AI and how it's becoming more prevalent, and how the cost has been reduced as well, and how people or smaller companies now are able to utilize that. But how effective and how yeah, possible is it for a newly established company, newly established fintech, to start utilizing those models and integrate them into their solution? Has the cost reduced significantly to that point?
Okay, so it's very important to, from day one, to have a data strategy and start by baby steps. So it's all about starting by aggregating your data, getting your data into, let's say, a tanker, a data lake, whatever you call it. I don't want to go into technical terminologies, okay? But make sure your data starts to be well structured. There's data unification. As we said, we need to break those Chinese walls between silos. Okay, this is extremely important to be done even at the early stage. Whenever you have one transaction, two transactions, you better start, because then after, okay, it will cost you much more and you will not be able to leverage, fully leverage the data. The cost optimization is really driven by use cases. Again, okay, sometimes we encounter clients who they having specific pain points, okay, and sometimes they have optimization opportunity. They know that eventually they can optimize on cost of acquisition or what have you, and the solutions are into the data. So it's all about having the data ready, prepared in a way that we can leverage it for either business growth use cases or cost optimization, customer engagement, what have you.
Yeah, where are we when it comes to data and AI when it comes to the region here? Like when you're talking about financial institutes and non-banking financial institutes, where are they in terms of adoption of credit scoring and underwriting? And how much of that is done in real time? Do you have insights on that that you can shed light on?
Sure. As you saw in the beginning of the presentation, 0.5% of global worldwide data is being leveraged. Okay. Unfortunately, what I see is that all of the fintechs, they tell you we're data driven, we're AI driven, but in reality, it's only part of their pitch. There are few of them who really fully leverage data. Fortunately, in Saudi Arabia, the fintechs are newborn fintechs during the last 5 to 4 years. So they are digital native fintech, and they have the ability to fully leverage data. We have few clients in Saudi Arabia who were surprised by what their data has to tell them. So as Insider, we are here to give voice to the fintech data. It's their data, it's their business, but they have to hear what their data is telling them. And then they can really optimize, they can really tap into real business growth.
And just on a use case that we have an interesting question here on a use case, how efficient has AI become when it comes to fraud detection? Uh, and have you seen use cases on that?
Sure. So on fraud detection, it's all about machine learning. So it's like a brain, a baby brain that you need to teach. And the fraud, the source of fraud, or the fraudulent hackers, what have you, whatever you call them, they're extremely creative, and they come every couple of days with something new. So it's not binary. It's not something that we learn and khalas and it's done. We always have to learn in real time every day. There's always, for especially for payment processing companies, there's always new tricks, new fraud attempts. Okay, and it's all about getting the ability to crunch and discover those fraudulent, potentially fraudulent. At the first instant, we get a signal. We it's a suspicious signal. We're not sure that it's a fraud. And then the more our AI and our machine learning is advanced, okay, we need to very fast make sure that this is, yes, it's fraud, or no, it was a false alert and it's not fraud. And again, okay, every day the machine is learning. Every day our machine becomes more powerful to detect more fraud. This is one. Two, there's lots of what we call reinforcement learning. So through the aggregate of the banks, the acquiring, the NI of the world, the Visa, MasterCard, okay, we get more knowledge. So there's kind of a knowledge practice where knowledge is shared, okay, to make those machine learning more adaptive into real time and being able to detect those fraudulent transactions.
I've got two more questions for you. Uh, Data bias, I think, is an important one when it comes to AI, especially even if you have a good data. One of our participants is asking that question, and I know there was a case with the Apple Card where the bias was to give men higher credit rating than women just because of the data that they had. How do you overcome that, and what's the best practice when it comes to that?
Oh, very good question. So, basically, as you know, there's lots of deep fakes. There's lots of getting the machine into a certain area where it becomes biased. However, the beauty of fintech, and especially in Saudi Arabia, is that you have so many feeds coming from governmental agencies. I don't recall the names now. You know them. So there's one for employment, there's the KYC, there's one for the credit bureau. Okay, so those genuine inputs through the APIs, they help, okay, fight those kind of bias patterns. The one, two, into the fintech world, it's not really large language model as much as they are domain specific, and they are more of what eventually I can call small language models. So very niche, very specialized. So eventually we can detect, okay, eventually bias patterns easily.
So basically, يعني, relying on the certified data sets that are collected on individuals to ensure that you avoid that bias. Interesting.
This is
طيب,
one. This is one. And two, the AI reasoning.
the
So today, the
okay,
technology of AI has evolved in a way that AI can teach AI. So AI can detect bias patterns and what have you.
interesting, interesting. طب, very interesting topic, Michelle, and obviously 1 hour is definitely not enough for that. We'd love to hear some recommendations on websites or papers or articles or sources where we can learn more about that. A lot of our participants enjoy going and doing a bit more research in that area. So what would you recommend and suggest?
Sorry, Kareem, just to add
So
to that question from Michelle, from Kareem, there's a lot of questions here about if I'm a student and I want to get into AI, so building AI solutions, what would you recommend for that? So just related to not just learning about AI, but actually start training yourselves in becoming an engineer or software engineer related to AI solutions as well. Michelle, you there?
I think he froze. There's a bit of a lag.
sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Hi, Michelle. Sorry,
Can you
you're
hear
back.
me?
So yeah, just a final question, just to add to what Kareem's question about knowledge in websites and blogs. If you could give any advice to anybody who's starting a career and wants to build a career in AI, whether it's a technical side or the business side, what would you suggest that they do, please? Thank you.
Again, it's gonna look a bit awkward, but there's no AI if there's no data. I'm not suggesting that whoever wants to go into AI to become a data scientist, but at least understand, okay, data structuring and a bit of data engineering. AI is a vast word, and today we're seeing kind of, I won't say a separation, but today, for example, with at Insighter, we have AI engineers, we have machine learning engineers, we have data scientists. So each person who wants to start need really to start from data and discover whether he wants to, he or she wants to get more acquainted with AI or with machine learning. This space is evolving. So today we have AI agents, what we're calling agentic AI. Eventually, will be moving towards AI taking actions, performing tasks. So it's a very large, wide space, and it's becoming specialized niche into certain areas. For the knowledge center, so there's a bit of data on Insider website, but definitely I advise you to go to the big consultants, so the McKinsey of the world, the BCG of the world, simply because they have the best white papers that are actually kind of best practices on how to implement data strategies and AI. I will be personally launching soon kind of a newsletter that I'm calling my data stories. So it's not a standard vanilla product newsletter. It will be sharing on a weekly basis real data and AI implementations and use cases.
Michelle, thank you very much for that. I think just to add on to that for our listeners, I know for a fact that Google has released multiple trainings on AI that are currently being offered for free. I'm not promoting Google, nor is this a paid advertisement, but these resources are available and they are free on Google. So I would do a quick search on their educational site and benefit from those classes and sessions, trainings that they have. I know for a fact that they've been opening up a lot of those. Michelle, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you so much for this, your time and shedding insight on data and AI in fintech. It was, I think, very insightful indeed. Just a few quick reminders to our attendees. We announced last week the essay competition, which is going to be closing in 2 days. So if you have not submitted your essay yet, now is the time to do it. You will find the link to the thought leadership competition in the chat. So if you have not submitted an essay and you want to do so, you still have 2 days to do that. We will be closing applications on the 15th. We have received some very good essays as well. Looking forward to receiving many more from here till the 15th. For those who were asking about the Zero to Hero Bootcamp, so assessment of application is currently ongoing. You should be hearing back from the organizers very soon. So keep your eye on your email if you've already submitted your application. If you haven't done so, we're still looking for applications, and you still have time before we close those applications to apply. So you can also find that link in the chat, Zero to Hero Bootcamp. The link is there. So make sure you apply. I saw a couple of questions asking about whether you could attend the bootcamp if you're not in Riyadh. Unfortunately, that's not going to be possible because it's going to be an on-site bootcamp at 24 Fintech, which brings me to 24 Fintech. Make sure that you have registered. The agenda is looking extremely good. We've got some amazing speakers. There's going to be people from across the world coming to talk about fintech and innovation in the financial services sector. So make sure you register for 24 Fintech. You can also find the link in the chat as well. I'm just looking here to see if I have missed anything. Sagar, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
No, I think you covered everything. Thank you again, Michelle, and thanks, Kareem, for moderating.
Thank you, Michelle, again for your time and
for
this data. And we look forward to seeing you at 24 Fintech.
Sure, we'll be there.
For our listeners, make sure to join us next week. There's 2 more sessions left. So next week is going to be a very interesting session about fundraising in the fintech sector. So for all of you who want to learn about fundraising for your businesses, next week we have a super speaker on that topic. Looking forward to seeing you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.